Most dads give their kids a bike or a lecture about the birds and the bees, but our main character, Kim Sang-in, got a haunting warning that debt is a bottomless abyss. Fast forward a few years, and this absolute unit is walking into a literal den of thieves because he is the guy that abyss sends to collect its dues.
Local gamblers are crying about bus fare while this man in the suit looks like he is about to end their entire careers.
Sang-in does not care about your feelings or your excuses. He is here for President Hyo and he is not asking twice.
While the room is filled with low-tier thugs who think they are tough, our boy is standing there with glowing glasses and an aura that screams, "I have already calculated how many bones I am going to break." He is the living embodiment of his father's last words, and trust me, he is not here to play nice.
These gangsters really think they can lecture him on manners while they are literally hiding in a basement mahjong parlor.
President Hyo tries to act like a big shot, calling his boys uneducated, but Sang-in is just checking his watch like he has a dinner reservation at 8. He does not want an apology or a handshake. He wants the cold, hard cash, and the tension in the room is thick enough to cut with a dull knife.
This is where it gets hilarious because President Hyo thinks he is a math genius, trying to round down 109 million won like he is at a flea market.
Sang-in pulls out the receipts and shuts him down instantly, correcting him on the interest down to the last cent. Imagine trying to haggle with a guy holding an axe. The audacity of this local simp is actually legendary. Sang-in is a professional, which means he does not do discounts for thugs who spend their days losing money at mahjong. He coldly informs Hyo that compound interest is a cruel mistress and every single one counts. The gangsters start snickering like they have the upper hand, but they are about to learn that being a debt collector is not just about paperwork. It is about being the biggest predator in the room.
The moment the negotiation fails, the atmosphere shifts from a business meeting to a slaughterhouse.
Hyo swings an axe like a total amateur, but Sang-in dodges it with the grace of a man who has seen this movie 1,000 times. He is not just confident, he is arrogant because he knows he owns these guys. He only lent them the money because he was 100% sure he could beat it out of them later. Talk about a reality check. Sang-in literally walks into the attack just to deliver a devastating counter. He is dismantling these thugs like they are made of Lego bricks. The visuals are insane as he turns the room into a whirlwind of violence, proving that a suit and glasses are just a disguise for a monster.
These guys thought they were the hunters, but they are just prey with a high interest rate.
The rest of the gang is frozen in fear because they finally realize this is not a normal debt collector.
Sang-in is standing over Hyo like a dark god, reminding everyone that he does not lose.
He lent the money because he knew he could take it back, and now he is collecting the principal, the interest, and a side of trauma for everyone involved. He is literally the final boss of the financial world. Hyo is screaming at his boys to attack, claiming Sang-in cannot kill him because he needs the money.
That is some top-tier copium right there.
Sang-in just pins him to the floor with a boot to the chest and an axe to the throat, proving that while he might not kill you, he can certainly make you wish you were dead. The fear in Hyo's eyes is the best return on investment Sang-in has seen all day. The absolute disrespect as Sang-in tells him not to worry because he is not going to kill him today. He just needs to make sure the message is loud and clear. He walks out of that basement like a general returning from a war zone, leaving a trail of broken bodies and shattered egos behind him.
If you owe this man money, just pack your bags and move to another planet.
Back at the office, the underlings are losing their minds because Sang-in just walked in loaded with bags of cash.
He wrapped up 4 major cases in one morning like it was a grocery run. They are calling him a legend, a general, and honestly, they are underselling it. He is the only guy in the business with a 100% collection rate, and he looks bored while doing it. While his subordinates are worshipping him as the god of debt and the demon king, Sang-in is just worried about the bank deposit. He is so efficient it is actually scary. The guys are literally riding his coattails, and they know it.
He is the debt teacher and every day is a masterclass in how to be the most terrifying person in Seoul.
This man is built like a tank. Just look at those scars on his back.
That is not from sitting in an office. That is from years of being the one who cuts. He is so unbothered that he just asks for a clean shirt while his old one is still fresh with the blood of his enemies. Now the team is talking about giving the Magne his first mission, and they pick a target that looks like an easy win. The target is a young female teacher who only owes 10 million won.
The team thinks it is the perfect training exercise for the rookie, but Sang-in freezes when he sees the file.
There is something about this Kim Ion woman that has the legendary Demon King looking rattled. He suddenly announces he is taking the case himself, leaving his boys confused and hungry for their missed lunch.
The subordinates are whispering that Sang-in is a literal robot built by the chairman. He has been this sharp and cold for 3 years, caring about nothing but performance.
They wonder what kind of ambition he has, but little do they know, his drive comes from a place of pure, unadulterated trauma.
He is walking into his next job with a shadow hanging over him that no amount of money can clear. We see the darker side of the business as Sang-in deals with a desperate old man offering his wife's insurance money.
It is soul-crushing, and the man is groveling for his life.
Sang-in is just standing there like a statue, watching a human being break in front of him.
People beg him to save them, but he knows his job is to do the exact opposite.
Another debtor is cursing him to hell, and Sang-in just agrees with him.
He is already living in a nightmare, so what is one more layer of damnation? He is cold, calculated, and completely detached.
He reminds the guy that he will be back next week for the rest, showing zero mercy to a man who is clearly at the end of his rope.
The flashback hits hard.
Sang-in's father was a man who couldn't handle the pressure and chose to end his own life, leaving a 15-year-old kid to face the wolves.
Sang-in watched his dad grovel and beg for mercy, and he hated every second of it.
He decided right then that he would never be the one on his knees. He would be the one holding the blade.
Seeing his father's pathetic image burned a hole in his soul.
When the loan sharks came for him at 15, he didn't know anything about laws, he just knew fear. He was forced to become the man he despised, but he made a pivot that changed everything. Instead of paying the debt, he offered to collect it. He chose to become the predator to save himself from being the prey. This kid had more backbone at 15 than most adults. He looked those monsters in the eye and told them he would be their best collector.
He wouldn't beg for his life, he would take the lives of others' dreams.
That resolve turned him into the machine we see today. He traded his humanity for a suit and a 100% collection rate, all to keep the abyss at bay.
Back in the present, Sang-in arrives at the teacher's school and finds his subordinate slacking off.
He kicks the guy out and decides to handle Kim In personally.
The air is heavy as he walks through the halls. This isn't just another job.
This is personal, and the legendary debt machine is showing cracks for the first time in years.
He finds her in the hallway and hits her with the cold facts: 10 million principal, 3 million interest. She looks like she has seen a ghost, and the tension is suffocating.
She is begging for her life just like everyone else, but there is a layer of history here that is about to explode.
This isn't just a debtor and a collector. This is a family reunion from hell. The reveal drops like a bomb. Kim In is his little sister.
She recognizes him and calls him Appa, but it is not a warm greeting.
She is horrified that the brother she hasn't seen in 10 years has become the very thing that destroyed their family.
The lesson their father left them was to never be in debt, and here they both are, failing in different ways. She is literally clinging to him, crying for help, but he remains a stone wall.
Suddenly, a student named Yi Jun interrupts, and Sang-in's mask slips for a split second.
He lies to the kid, claiming to be a teacher from another school on an exchange program. Even in his darkest moments, he is trying to protect her dignity from her students.
The student is suspicious, but Sang-in plays the part perfectly. He is smooth, professional, and terrifyingly convincing. Once the kid is gone, the coldness returns.
He demands the 13 million won by the end of the day and warns her not to run.
He is treating his own sister like a common criminal, and it is absolutely brutal to watch. In is broken, screaming at him that he has truly lost his mind.
She disowned him 10 years ago for choosing the path of a lone shark, calling him garbage. Sang-in just walks away, leaving her to drown in her despair.
He is waiting outside the gates, checking his phone and expecting more excuses, but the message he gets is much worse than a late payment. He reflects on the past decade of silence between them.
She hated him for joining the monsters, but he did it to survive. Now, she has sent him a text that reads like a suicide note. She realizes that loan sharks aren't the scariest things. It is the devils inside the classroom that truly break a soul. Her dream of being a teacher has turned into a nightmare she can't wake up from.
The text is a gut punch.
She apologizes for calling him garbage and for dying without paying her debt. She thanks him for the small kindness in the hallway, and Sang-in realizes he is about to lose the only thing he has left. The man who vowed to be the one who cuts is now frantically racing against time to save his sister from the same abyss that took their father. The internal monologue is deep as he realizes that the classroom was her personal hell. If she cannot survive there, then he will go there instead.
He is trading his life as a legendary debt collector for a new role.
The scene shifts, and we see him standing at the podium of her class, introduced as the new teacher. But he is not there to teach math or history. The students are looking at him like he is just another victim, but they have no idea they are staring into the eyes of a shark.
He introduces himself as Kim Sang-in, and the vibe in the room changes instantly.
He is not there for a student-teacher relationship, he is there for a debt collection.
The bullies who drove his sister to the edge are about to find out what happens when you owe the Demon King. He looks at the class and declares that the bastards standing before him owe him a very large debt.
He is not just a teacher, he is a lone shark who will collect even from the depths of hell.
The classroom that was once a place of torment for his sister is about to become a hunting ground.
The collection starts now, and there are no discounts for bullies.
The fear is already starting to set in as Sang-in's presence fills the room.
He is the ultimate red flag for anyone who thinks they can get away with being a devil.
He has traded his bags of cash for a chalkboard, but his mission remains the same. He is going to make these kids pay for every tear his sister shed, and the interest is going to be astronomical. The ending is pure hype as Sang-in stares down the lead bully with a smile that says, "Your life is over." He is the lone shark teacher, and he has come to collect the ultimate debt. The abyss has arrived in the classroom, and there is nowhere left for these kids to hide.
Buckle up, because class is in session and the Demon King is taking attendance. Every student in that room is now a debtor in his eyes. He is going to dismantle their hierarchy just like he dismantled that gang in the basement.
He is the predator who chose to wear a teacher's badge, and he is going to be the most terrifying thing they have ever encountered.
The cycle of debt continues, but this time, he is the one holding the ledger and the axe.
He remembers his sister's face and his father's groveling, and it fuels his resolve. He will not let another Kim fall into the abyss.
If the world is full of devils, he will be the one who hunts them down.
The debt machine is now a teacher, and his first lesson is that every action has a price, and he is here to make sure they pay it in full.
The final shot of his glowing glasses as he stares into the soul of the classroom is legendary. He is Kim Sang-in, and he is the one who cuts.
Whether it is in a basement parlor or a high school classroom, he is the only one who wins.
The debt is high, the interest is rising, and the Demon King is ready to start his most satisfying collection yet. The students are whispering, trying to figure out who this guy is, but they will find out soon enough. He is the ultimate nightmare for any bully, a man who knows no mercy and has a 100% success rate. The classroom hell is about to get a new ruler, and he is bringing the compound interest of pain with him.
Class is officially dismissed for everyone who thinks they are a big shot. Sang-in's journey from a traumatized 15-year-old to a legendary lone shark and now a vengeful teacher is complete.
He has embraced his role as the one who beheads the hope of his enemies. He is the abyss, he is the Demon King, and he is the best thing to ever happen to this school. The hunt is on, and the collection will be glorious. He stands tall, a symbol of cold justice in a suit. The bullies are already sweating, and they don't even know why yet. Sang-in's name will be whispered in terror throughout the halls of Seoul Bit High. He is the one who collects, even from the depths of hell, and he is just getting started. The debt of the classroom devils is about to be called in, and it is going to be brutal. The Demon King of Debt has a new office, and the first payment is due.
He is Kim Sang-in, the man who never fails, and the most terrifying teacher you will ever have.
The abyss is open, and he is inviting the whole class in. Stay tuned, because this collection is going to be a masterpiece of violence and retribution. Imagine being a powerful congressman and having to bow your head to a lone shark just for some pocket change.
Congressman Park is out here sweating bullets while dining with Chairman Huang, the big boss of Chunhong Capital, because in this world, money is the only god anyone actually worships. Sitting there like a stone-cold statue is our protagonist, Kim Sang-in.
He clearly does not have time for this political small talk, because he abruptly stands up and dips in the middle of the meal, leaving the congressman looking like a confused NPC. Chairman Huang is surprisingly chill about his subordinate being a total savage.
He explains that Sang-in is dealing with a death in the family, reminding us that even for a professional bone breaker, blood is thicker than water.
We see Sang-in at a funeral, looking absolutely devastated.
But do not let those tears fool you. This is not just grief, it is the fuel for a revenge plot that is about to go nuclear.
Later, Sang-in meets his boss for a private meal and drops a bombshell. He does not want a promotion or a bonus. He wants the chairman to pull some illegal strings to get him a job as a teacher at Seolbit High School.
Why would a legendary debt collector want to deal with bratty teenagers? Simple.
That school is where his sister, Kim Ayan, was tormented until she decided to end it all. He is not going there to teach math, he is going there to hunt. Chairman Huang finds this whole teacher vibe hilarious and agrees to help, but he gives Sang-in a chilling warning.
This favor is a debt, and in the world of loan sharks, everything must be repaid with interest. Sang-in accepts the terms without blinking.
He is already thinking of his new students as debtors who owe a blood price for what they did to his sister.
The hunt is officially on, and these kids have no idea who just walked into their lives.
He walks into grade 3, class 2, and the atmosphere immediately turns into a horror movie.
He scans the room with predatory eyes, knowing that the monsters who killed his sister are hiding behind those innocent-looking school uniforms.
The students are already simping for him because he is built like a tank and looks like a K-drama lead, but Sang-in is not here for the popularity contest. He has zero interest in being the cool teacher.
He shatters the nice guy act instantly. No, nice to meet you. No, let us have a great year.
He just looks them in the eye and asks why their previous teacher, Kim Ayan, jumped to her death.
Talk about a vibe killer. The classroom goes so silent you could hear a pin drop. The students are shaking, and the air gets heavy with guilt. Sang-in takes their silence as a no, and just walks out, leaving them all in a state of absolute terror.
In the faculty room, the other teachers are gossiping about the new guy being a total weirdo.
They mention that Class 2 is perfect and has zero complaints, which is the biggest red flag in history. If a class is that perfect, it means the bullying is hidden deep underground. It turns out 6 students from that class are already in psychiatric treatment. These kids are not perfect, they are traumatized, and the school is just pretending everything is fine to save face. Sang-in starts his investigation by playing basketball with the kids, acting like he is just observing, but he finds nothing. These little demons are masters of manipulation and have scrubbed every trace of their crimes from the records. He looks at his sister's old teaching logs and finds nothing but sunshine and rainbows.
It is disgusting how well they hid the truth, but Sang-in knows that demons always leave a trail if you look hard enough.
The scene shifts to a girl named Baek Soyeon confronting a total garbage human named Park Dae-jeon.
She is trembling while asking for her 500,000 won back, while this clown just looms over her like he owns the place.
A quick flashback reveals that Soyeon was the only student brave enough to show up at Kim Ayan's funeral.
She is the only one with a soul in this entire cursed school, and of course, she is the one being targeted.
Daejeon is a textbook bully who thinks he is untouchable.
He mocks Soyeon for being stingy about the money he borrowed, and treats her like she is the one doing something wrong. He hits her with a disgusting ultimatum.
If she wants her money back, she has to hang out with him and his trashy friends later tonight.
He even tells her to look pretty, which is basically code for something way more sinister. Soyeon goes back to her mom's snack shop, and it is a total disaster. There are eviction notices everywhere because she stole the money from the register to lend it to Daejeon, thinking it would buy her some friends. She is drowning in guilt and desperation. When a text from Daejeon arrives promising to pay her back, she ignores every survival instinct she has and decides to head to the location he sent. She arrives at a shady room salon, and the dread is real. Daejeon and his goons are already there, drinking and looking like the villains they are. They never had any intention of paying her back, they just wanted a new toy to play with.
The bullying turns into a full-on assault. They start spraying water on her and calling it water boom, trying to film a humiliating video for their own sick amusement. Soyeon is cornered and screaming for help, and that is when the door slides open. Enter Kim Sang-in.
The atmosphere shifts from a party to a morgue in 3 seconds. Soyeon recognizes him from the funeral, and for the first time, she sees a glimmer of hope in this nightmare.
These bullies are so delusional they start talking trash to a professional loan shark.
They call him an old man and a sugar daddy, totally unaware that they are about to get a very physical lesson in consequences. Sang-in ignores the insults and speaks only to Soyeon.
He thanks her for being the only one to see his sister off, acknowledging that he owes her a debt of gratitude.
And then, he turns his attention to the trash in front of him.
Daejeon keeps yapping like a chihuahua until Sangin loses his patience. Without a single warning, he launches a punch that sends the bully flying across the room. Absolute satisfaction. The other punks are frozen in fear as their leader gets his face reorganized. Sangin walks over to the bleeding Daejeon and tells him it is time to talk about the math of the underworld.
He reminds Daejeon that he borrowed 500,000 2 months ago.
Since there was no contract, Sangin is applying the standard loan shark interest rate of 30% per week, compounded.
The math is brutal. That small loan has ballooned into a staggering 4,078,653 won. Daejeon is screaming that this is impossible and makes no sense, but he is talking to the wrong person. Sangin looks down at him with those cold, dead eyes and tells him that in his classroom, these are the new rules. He is the collector now, and he is going to make sure every single one of them pays back what they owe, with interest.
The bullies realize they are not dealing with a teacher, but a monster from a world they are not prepared for.
The debt collection has officially started, and it is going to be a very, very long semester for these bastards. Sangin stands tall in the middle of the wreckage, a literal reaper in a suit.
He has found his first target, and this is only the beginning of the bloodbath he has planned for his sister's murderers.
As Soyeon watches in awe, she realizes that the old man from the funeral is the guardian angel she never expected.
But for the bullies, he is the ultimate nightmare that has finally come to collect.
The episode ends with Sangin looming over the defeated trash, proving that when you mess with a loan shark's family, you pay with more than just money.
The interest rate on revenge is 100%, and Sangin is here to collect every drop.
He lets the final number sink in as the bullies tremble on the floor. The classroom used to be their playground, but now it is Sangin's collection office, and business is about to be very, very good.
Imagine being a high-ranking underworld legend and spending your night tailing a bunch of high school punks.
Sangin's subordinates are sitting in the car looking absolutely baffled, wondering why their boss is wasting his time on small fry.
One thing is for sure though, if you have become this man's target, your life is basically over and you just do not know it yet. These goons know that whoever is inside that building is about to experience a world of pain they never signed up for. Inside the hideout, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife as the bullies demand to know who this suit-wearing intruder is. Sangin just stands there with zero fear, calmly introducing himself as the homeroom teacher for grade 3, class 2.
The students are in total shock that a teacher actually hunted them down in their private sanctuary, but the ringleader Daejeon is too arrogant to be scared. He starts mocking the situation, laughing about a teacher trying to extort money from his own students.
Sangin shuts that nonsense down immediately with cold, logical precision, explaining that he is not extorting anyone. He is simply settling improper financial dealings between classmates as part of his educational duty to keep things fair. These foolish kids actually think they can overpower a grown man just because it is 3 against 1. They launch a collective attack, thinking they can beat him to death, but they have no idea they are fighting a literal human weapon. It is a total dismantling as Sangin moves with the speed of a ghost, landing strikes that these kids cannot even see coming. In just a matter of seconds, the tough guy act evaporates as the bullies end up groaning on the floor like the losers they are.
Standing over the broken heap of teenagers, Sangin delivers a chilling ultimatum that would make anyone's blood run cold.
He gives them exactly 1 day to pay back the debt by 5 p.m. tomorrow, or things are going to get much, much worse.
He makes it very clear that failing to make that payment will lead to a fate where they will wish they were in hell instead.
The psychological pressure is already setting in as he looks down at them with eyes that have seen way too much violence.
Turning his attention to the victim, Baek Soyeon, he advises her to leave the scene before things get even more complicated. Soyeon is trembling, but she realizes this man is not just a random hero. She recognizes him as the brother of the late Kim Ian. She tries to warn him out of genuine concern, knowing that Daejeon's gang is the type to seek revenge and report him to the school board. She is terrified that his attempt to save her will only result in him getting kicked out of the school. As Soyeon watches him walk away, she cannot help but wonder who this mysterious teacher really is and why he has such a terrifying aura. Meanwhile, Daejeon is clutching his bruised face, swearing that he will not let this teacher get away with such a humiliation. The next day at school, the atmosphere is strangely quiet as everyone waits for the inevitable explosion between the teacher and the gang.
Sangin just goes about his business, his face a mask of professional indifference that hides the predator underneath.
During gym class, The students are buzzing about the teacher's insane moves, realizing that this guy is built differently.
Soyeon is on edge, wondering why Daejeon is being so quiet, until her phone suddenly pings with a massive bank notification.
One of the bullies actually caved and sent over 1.3 million won, which is exactly 1/3 of the total debt they owed her.
Daejeon is absolutely furious, grabbing his friend and screaming at him for being a traitor after just one punch. The friend screams back in total desperation, revealing that it was not the punch that broke him, but a terrifying text message. It turns out Sangin sent a message containing personal information that no normal human should ever be able to find. We are talking social media passwords, home addresses, and even the work locations of their parents.
The teacher basically doxed their entire lives, showing them that he knows exactly where they and their families sleep at night.
This is psychological warfare at its finest, as the students realize that reporting him is useless if he can destroy their lives with a single click. Even the address of a great aunt that one bully did not know existed was included in the threat.
One by one, the bullies start turning into snitches on their own wallets, desperate to escape the grasp of this psycho teacher. They would rather be broke than have a man like Sangin lurking around their families' homes.
Daejeon is left completely isolated as his so-called friends abandon him to save their own skins. He is the only one left who is not paid, and the 5 p.m. deadline is looming over him like a death sentence. In the classroom, Sangin is giving a professional lecture on GDP while staring directly into Daejeon's soul.
Every word he speaks feels like a countdown, reminding the boy that his time for negotiation is rapidly running out.
Daejeon is hyperventilating in the hallway, totally trapped because he lost all his money trading crypto like a complete moron.
He has no way to pay the debt, and the fear of what the teacher will do is starting to drive him insane.
Just when he thinks he is cooked, a student named Eom Yee-jun approaches him with a sinister smile and a potential lifeline.
Yee-jun suggests that they should fight fire with fire by using the teacher's own personal information as leverage.
He hints that he knows the real reason why Kim Ian jumped from the roof, and that this secret is a card the teacher cannot ignore.
Daejeon's confidence starts to return, thinking he finally has a way to checkmate the man in the suit.
Meanwhile, Soyeon meets with Sangin to thank him for recovering the money, explaining that it saved her mother's shop from going under.
Sangin accepts the thanks stoically, but his mind is still focused on the one remaining debt that needs to be collected.
He notes that the job is not finished until every single cent is accounted for, and he is not the type to leave a job half done.
Daejeon approaches him with a smug grin, acting like he is the one holding all the power in this conversation.
The punk offers a deal, claiming he will tell the truth about the sister's death if the teacher cancels his remaining debt.
It is the ultimate gamble, and Daejeon really thinks he has found a way to win against a professional predator.
Sangin does not even blink at the offer, simply checking his watch and noting that it is officially past 5 p.m. The time for deals and talking has expired, and the boy has failed to meet the one condition he was given. As Daejeon starts to panic, realizing his leverage means nothing to a man who values deadlines over secrets, Sangin moves in. He grabs the boy by the throat, preparing to deliver on his promise of showing him what a living hell truly looks like.
The look in the teacher's eyes is no longer that of an educator, but of a man who is about to systematically dismantle a bully's life.
Daejeon's screams for air are ignored as the legend from the underworld finally lets his true nature take over.
The rest of the school might see a teacher, but this boy is currently staring into the abyss of his own consequences. Sangin makes it clear that he warned him, and now, there is no amount of information that can save him from the coming storm.
The secret about Kim Ian might be important, but Sangin is going to extract it on his own terms, and it definitely will not be part of a deal. The bullying era for these punks is officially over, replaced by a reign of terror they never saw coming.
As the sun sets on the school grounds, the final debt is about to be collected in blood and broken bones.
This is what happens when you mess with the wrong family and think a teacher is an easy target for your pathetic high school games. Daejeon realizes too late that he was never playing a game with a teacher, but surviving in a cage with a monster.
The deadline has passed, the debt is still open, and the hell Sangin promised is finally being delivered in full. The sheer power gap is hilarious as Sangin lifts the boy off the ground with a single hand, showing zero effort. All the arrogance and the crypto-gambling ego have vanished, replaced by the primal fear of a child who just met his end.
This is the birth of a new legend in the school, one where the teacher is the most dangerous person on campus.
If you thought the first few hits were bad, just wait until you see what happens when Kim Sang-in actually gets serious about his lesson plan.
Imagine being held underwater until your lungs scream for mercy just because you thought being a bully was a personality trait.
Our boy Park Dae-jeon is currently discovering that his new teacher, Sang-in, doesn't play by the rules of the school board.
Sang-in isn't just drowning him. He is giving him a front-row seat to his own mortality. He tells the gasping brat to watch closely because the face of pure, unadulterated terror he is making right now is the one he will have to live with forever.
The teacher finally lets him up, but only to mock him.
He finds it hilarious how quickly a tough guy turns into a sobbing mess when the real collection hasn't even started yet.
Local bully discovers that begging for your life is actually quite easy when you are pathetic.
Dae-jeon is left coughing and cursing like a typical loser.
He actually thinks he is safe from being shaken down for money because his mom ran away and his dad is overseas. He really thinks a guy like Sang-in cares about his family tree?
How cute. While the boy is busy feeling sorry for himself, he has no idea that Sang-in operates on a level of petty that most people can't even fathom. He is about to learn that when a debt collector says he is coming for you, he doesn't mean a phone call.
Dae-jeon is walking home thinking he is the main character of a tragedy, wondering if the teacher will call his parents.
Too bad for him. He is about to be the main character of a National Geographic documentary on deep-sea suffering. Surprise! It is a kidnapping. Dae-jeon gets snatched off the street and told to get some sleep because he is about to do enough hard labor to make a Victorian orphan look pampered. The look on his face is priceless as reality starts to sink in. Waking up to a bucket of cold water and the smell of rotten fish is a rough way to start the day.
Dae-jeon finds himself on a fishing boat in the middle of nowhere, and spoiler alert, there are no life jackets for his ego.
He tries to pull the "I am just a student" card, but the captain of this ship has zero interest in his GPA.
He is told that there are only two ways off this floating hell: work off the debt or become fish food.
Choices, choices. Our little punk tries to demand they turn the boat around and gets a fist to the face for his troubles.
The crew is more than happy to welcome a fresh punching bag to the deck.
Welcome to the working class, you little piece of trash.
The seniors on the boat are absolutely delighted to have fresh meat to torment.
Dae-jeon is beaten into a pulp until he finally accepts that his bullying days are over and his manual labor days have officially begun.
For the first time in his pampered life, the boy is actually working.
He is struggling with fishing nets, crying about wanting a hamburger, and getting kicked by the crew every time he messes up.
It is honestly the most productive 10 days he has ever had. 10 days later, the boat finally docks and Dae-jeon stumbles off looking like a literal zombie. He is traumatized, smelling like shrimp, and swearing he will never borrow a single cent again.
He thinks the nightmare is over, but he forgot who his teacher is.
Just as he is celebrating his freedom, Sang-in appears like a final boss at the pier. He calmly tells the boy to get back on the boat next week. Dae-jeon's soul basically leaves his body as he screams that he already paid his debt. Time for a math lesson from hell. Sang-in pulls out the receipts and explains that interest doesn't stop just because you are seasick. The original debt of 1.3 million won actually snowballed into over 2.2 million while he was busy sorting nets. It gets worse.
Sang-in deducted a trainee fee, a brokerage fee, and probably a "because I hate you" fee.
After 10 days of literal torture, the boy only paid off 700,000 won. He still owes 1.5 million. The math is matang, and it is glorious. Dae-jeon cries about human rights and illegal labor, but Sang-in just roasts him by saying not paying a debt is also a violation. He even kindly processed the boat trip as field training so he wouldn't fail school. Talk about a dedicated educator. Meanwhile, Sang-in's team is digging into the rest of Class 3-2 and finding something fishy. The students are too clean. Their records are so perfect they look like saints, which we all know is just a cover for some seriously dark business. The investigation moves to a kid named Yejun. Just then, Sang-in gets a text from Dae-jeon claiming he has the money and giving him an address. Sang-in knows it is a trap, but he is bored enough to walk right into it. Flashback time.
We see that Dae-jeon was actually broken by the boat and went crying to Yejun for help.
Yejun is the real mastermind here, and he reveals he knows Sang-in is the older brother of the girl who committed suicide, Kim In.
Yejun isn't a mindless thug, he is a cold-blooded strategist.
He tells Daejeon to lure the teacher to a specific spot so they can delete him from the server permanently.
He is tired of Sang-in sniffing around their perfect little lives. Back in the present, Sang-in arrives at the warehouse and finds Daejeon acting all tough again. The boy is feigning confidence, but Sang-in can smell the cowardice from a mile away. He notes that the ambush is so poorly hidden it is actually offensive. Daejeon demands the debt be cleared and that Sang-in leaves the school forever.
He really thinks he is in control because he brought some generic thugs with him. Sang-in just looks at him with pity because the boy is too stupid to realize he is a puppet.
A gang of armed men surrounds our teacher, but Sang-in doesn't even blink.
He asks one simple question. Who planned this?
He knows Daejeon doesn't have the brain cells to organize a grocery list, let alone a hit. When the thugs finally attack, Sang-in decides it is time for a live demonstration of why you don't mess with a debt collector.
He moves faster than their tiny minds can process, dodging weapons and preparing to turn the warehouse into a trauma center.
One thug gets slammed into the pavement with enough force to recalibrate his spine.
The rest of the gang freezes as they realize they aren't fighting a teacher, they are fighting a monster.
Sang-in is just getting warmed up. He grabs the nearest attacker by the face and literally crushes him into the ground. The violence is clinical, brutal, and absolutely terrifying. Daejeon is watching his backup get dismantled like Lego sets.
With blood on his glasses and a cold stare that could freeze the sun, Sang-in demands the name of the mastermind again.
He is done playing games with the middlemen.
He wants the head of the person who actually thinks they can stop him.
As the warehouse goes silent except for the sound of breaking bones, the message is clear.
You can hide behind perfect grades and expensive suits, but when the debt collector comes calling, everyone pays the price in blood.
Imagine jumping a guy and ending up as a floor mat. Our main man Sang-in is standing over a pile of broken thugs like he is just finishing a light workout, demanding to know who sent these clowns. The gangsters are literally shaking, unable to process how one man with 0 weapons just dismantled their entire squad.
They thought they were the hunters, but local math teacher just turned them into a geometry problem.
One guy tries to act tough, but Sang-in is not in the mood for games.
The sheer disbelief on their faces is priceless as they realize that posturing does not work when your opponent is a literal monster in a suit.
Meanwhile, our resident coward Park Daejeon is watching from the shadows and realizing his brilliant plan just went up in smoke. He is so terrified he practically trips over his own feet trying to scramble away from the carnage.
Daejeon is sprinting like he is training for the Olympics, but Sang-in does not even bother chasing him. Why waste cardio when you know that once a man is in debt, there is nowhere on this green earth he can actually hide?
The fear is real as Daejeon gasps for air, realizing that the prey he targeted is actually the apex predator.
He thinks he is safe because he is running, but he is just moving from one cage to another.
Panic mode engaged. Daejeon calls his backup, Eom Yijun, screaming for help like a lost puppy. But Yijun is chillingly calm, basically telling him to shut up and deposit 5 million won immediately. Talk about a bad day. Daejeon argues he is broke, but Yijun drops the bomb. Those thugs were not a free trial.
Since the mission failed, Daejeon is now the one holding the bill for the hiring fees.
The trap snaps shut. Yijun declares a 45% weekly interest rate, which is basically a death sentence. A black van pulls up and silent men drag Daejeon away to a job that he definitely did not sign up for. While Daejeon is being hauled off to hell, Yijun is actually impressed.
He realizes Sang-in is not just some teacher, but a high-tier beast capable of soloing a dozen armed men without breaking a sweat.
Back at the warehouse, Sang-in is still roasting the leftovers. These thugs confess they are from a rival firm called Good Capital and only took this side job because a student offered them some quick cash. Sang-in is literally laughing at them.
Getting beaten to a pulp by a schoolteacher for a measly 5 million won?
That is a permanent stain on their resume. He demands the name of their leader, and he is not asking nicely. The name Choi Ocheol pops up on a phone screen, and things just got a lot more complicated.
The man on the other end hears Sang-in's name and you can practically feel the bloodlust radiating through the speaker.
The connection is made. Ocheol is not just some random boss. He is someone who knows exactly who Sang-in is. The rivalry between these two just went from business to personal in a heartbeat.
Shift to the office where Sang-in's youngest subordinate, the Magne, is being a total simp.
He looks at Sang-in with hard eyes, calling him a role model and the #1 loan shark in the country.
Sangin hits him with the cold truth: loan sharks are just trash who value money over human lives.
He shows off his battle-scarred body, asking the kid if he really wants to end up as scum like him. The magne is not backing down though. He knows Sangin sacrificed his entire life to pay off his sister's debts.
He tells Sangin that if he is considered trash, then the kid is proud to be trash right along with him.
Flashback time. We see why Sangin has a soft spot for this kid.
The magne was once just as desperate, begging on his knees for surgery money for his family.
Sangin saw his own reflection in those desperate eyes. Promotion time.
Sangin gives the kid a 10% commission on solo runs, but there is a catch.
Once the surgery bills are paid, the kid has to quit this dirty business forever. It is a get-out-of-jail card with a timer. Sangin starts connecting the dots. The ambush was just a test to push him out of the school.
Someone at Soulbit High is terrified that he is digging into the truth behind his sister Kim Ayan's suicide.
They want him to stop looking, but they clearly do not know who they are dealing with. Sangin decides he does not need to hunt them down. He will just keep digging until they are forced to show their ugly faces. The next night, the magne is feeling himself. He puts on a pair of glasses to look tough, like his idol Sangin. He is excited for his first solo run, totally unaware that the vibe is about to get very dark.
A visitor walks into the office, and the kid thinks it is just Sangin coming back for a tie.
He turns around with a big smile, but instead of his boss, he finds a nightmare standing in the doorway.
Sangin arrives later to a deafening silence.
He walks in to find a horror scene. The magne is slumped over, beaten into a bloody pulp with a blunt weapon.
The kid he tried to save is barely clinging to life.
The intruder is still there, sitting casually like he is at a cafe.
It is team leader Choi Oh-cheol from Good Capital, holding a bloodied claw hammer and wearing a grin that belongs in a psychiatric ward.
Oh-cheol claims this is just corporate discipline for Sangin wrecking his men at the warehouse.
He is treating the brutal assault of a kid like it is just another day at the office, which is a massive red flag.
Sangin remembers his promise to the old man not to involve the company in his personal wars. That means no backup and no reinforcements. This is a 1v1 grudge match that he has to settle with his own hands. Oh-cheol is practically vibrating with excitement to fight the legendary Kim Sangin. He is swinging that hammer around like a toy, ready to see if the rumors about the #1 loan shark are true.
But Sangin is no longer the cool teacher or the professional debt collector.
He is a predator who just saw his cub get mauled.
He is coming for blood, and that hammer is not going to save Oh-cheol from the rage.
Imagine being so obsessed with your former student that you start psychoanalyzing his family trauma just to get a rise out of him. Team leader Choi Oh-cheol is officially the king of red flags, mocking Sangin for being a softie who only works hard because he is terrified of his sister getting hurt. This man literally pulls a hammer out of his belt like he is about to do some home DIY, but the only thing he is fixing is Sangin's face.
He starts complaining that his old boss saddled him with such a stubborn brat, and honestly, the entitlement is off the charts.
Oh-cheol is swinging that hammer with enough lethal intent to send Sangin to the afterlife early, but he is shocked to find our boy has been hitting the gym. He admits that in the old days, Sangin's head would have been cracked like an egg by now, but the student is actually keeping up.
Instead of a fair fight, the old man tries to play mind games, realizing Sangin is holding back to keep things from escalating.
He offers the most disrespectful deal ever. Just bow your head, say sorry for being a bad boy, and we can all go home for tea. Sangin has zero time for this nonsense and flatly refuses to apologize to a man who attacked his subordinate first.
He stares down his former mentor with that "I am about to end this man's whole career" look, and you can practically see Oh-cheol's blood pressure hitting the ceiling.
Rejection is a hell of a drug, and Oh-cheol is overdosing on it, screaming about how Sangin always followed everyone else's orders except his. He goes full psycho mode, promising to teach a lesson in insubordination that involves a lot of blunt force trauma. While the hammer is whistling past his ears, Sangin is actually distracted by the magne bleeding out on the floor. He knows if he doesn't wrap this up and get the kid to a hospital, he is going to be mourning a subordinate, which is a major vibe killer. Oh-cheol notices Sangin using a specific defensive move against his hammer and starts laughing like a cartoon villain.
He mocks him for trying to use the master's own techniques against him, thinking he has already won the chess match.
Joke is on you, old man. Sangin intentionally takes a grazing hit just to bait this clown into range.
The student has officially surpassed the master by using his own predictability as a weapon, and Ochiol realizes too late that he just walked straight into a trap.
While he is handing out this beatdown, Sangin finally drops the truth bomb on why he hated this guy so much.
It wasn't just arrogance. It was because Ochiola's orders were straight up disgusting, like that time he told him to kidnap a woman, his child, over a late payment. The flashbacks get even worse as we see Sangin being ordered to burn down shops just to force a settlement. Sangin isn't a saint, but even he has limits, unlike this hammer-wielding maniac who probably eats red flags for breakfast. Sangin lands a devastating counterblow, calling out the sick pleasure Ochiol took in watching people suffer.
He admits they are both trash in the eyes of society, but at least Sangin doesn't treat human despair like a hobby.
Ochiol is on the floor coughing up blood, but instead of repenting, he starts laughing like the bitter loser he is.
He accuses Sangin of acting like some noble, righteous loan shark, screaming that there is no difference between them in this filthy industry.
Sangin doesn't even argue because he knows he is trash, but he is trash with a soul.
He prepares to leave with his injured subordinate, leaving the broken team leader in the dust, which is honestly the ultimate power move. Ochiol tries to bait him one last time, shouting that if he doesn't kill him now, this feud will never end.
He is basically begging for a finishing move, but Sangin has a much more creative way to keep him quiet.
Sangin stops and drops a legal bombshell. As a loan shark, you should understand debt better than anyone.
By sparing your life today, you now owe me a life debt, and the interest rate is your silence. The repayment date is set for the exact second Ochiol opens his mouth about what happened in this room. If he leaks a single detail, Sangin is coming back to collect that life, and suddenly the old man doesn't feel like laughing anymore.
We shift to the hospital where the Magne finally wakes up, looking like he went 10 rounds with a blender.
He is panicked, but Sangin is there to tell him he is going to live, though he has to break the news that the attack was actually an assassination attempt on the ace. Sangin asks why the kid was even in the office so late, and the answer is way creepier than expected. While organizing files for Soulbit High, the Magne found a student who was basically a glitch in the Matrix, appearing in 2 different classrooms at the exact same time. We see the school roll call in action, and it is chilling. This student named Yi Jun is answering roll call in class 3-2 and 3-3 simultaneously, and nobody seems to notice the impossibility of it. This isn't just a smart kid, this is supernatural level weirdness. The mystery gets even darker when the Magne reveals that every single fixer agency he hired to do a background check refused the job. In the underworld, that only happens when the target is a high-level person of interest that is too dangerous to even look at. Armed with the knowledge that this Yi-jun kid is a walking hazard, Sangin heads back to the school to confront the anomaly himself. He walks into the classroom and locks eyes with the student who shouldn't exist, and the tension is high enough to snap a hammer in half. Imagine standing at your sister's grave, and the first thing you talk about is a 500,001 debt. Our protagonist Sangin is visiting the memorial park when Baek Soyeon approaches him, trembling with guilt over a debt a local bully hasn't paid back yet.
She thinks the interest is too high, but Sangin is about to give her a brutal reality check.
This isn't just about the money, it's about the principle.
Sangin explains that interest is the price for the risk and the opportunity cost she lost while that money was gone.
He reminds her that her mother had to work extra hours and Soyeon lived in constant fear.
The guy is basically a loan shark with a philosophy degree, and I am here for it. He frames the debt as compensation for her pain, validating her right to every single one.
Soyeon is finally comforted by his cold logic and agrees to let him handle the collection.
Little does she know, Sangin is just getting started.
As she leaves, his expression turns dark because it is officially time to start weeding out the trash in class 3-2.
The first target on his list? The class president, EOM Yi-jun. Sangin calls him to the counseling room immediately, and you just know things are about to get spicy.
The atmosphere is heavy as the perfect student sits across from the teacher who sees right through the facade.
Sangin cuts straight to the chase, asking if witnessing Kim Ayan's gruesome death messed with his head. Yi-jun puts on a calm, polite front, claiming it was hard for a few days, but he is totally fine now. Seriously, this kid's poker face is almost too good to be true.
But here is the glaring red flag. Every single student who saw that suicide is currently in psychiatric treatment, except for Yi-jun.
Sangin points out how strange it is for a high schooler to be so unaffected by a literal bloodbath.
The suspicion in the room is thick enough to cut with a knife.
Yi-jun tries to play the hero, claiming he has to stay strong to keep the class morale up.
He even has the audacity to ask Sang-in to write that he is struggling but enduring well in the log. Talk about a manipulative little genius.
He's trying to manage his own teacher's report.
Sang-in has zero time for games and bluntly tells Yi-jun that he suspects him of being involved in the death. The air gets even heavier, but Yi-jun doesn't even flinch.
Instead, he acts relieved and urges the teacher to find the demon responsible, even if it means investigating him.
This kid is a theater major in disguise.
He plays the role of the grieving, concerned student perfectly, begging for the culprit to be caught before excusing himself.
As he walks away, you can practically see the mask he's wearing.
But Sang-in isn't fooled by the fake tears or the polite bowing.
He knows exactly what he saw that day. In a chilling flashback, Sang-in recalls the moment of the suicide. While everyone else was screaming and losing their minds, he looked up and saw Yi-jun at the railing. A normal human would be shaking, but this psycho's hands were as steady as a rock.
He wasn't in shock. He was enjoying the spectacle like it was a front row seat at a movie premiere.
Sang-in realizes that Yi-jun is one of the terrible demons his sister warned him about.
The mission is clear now. Peel off that mask and drop every single demon into the abyss without a shred of mercy.
Sang-in is officially on the warpath.
He knows Yi-jun's hands don't shake because there is no soul behind them.
He vows to reveal the true nature of these monsters, starting with the one who thinks he's the smartest person in the room.
The scene shifts to a group of students huddled over a phone, and of course, they are being absolute trash.
They are watching a provocative internet broadcast of a cam girl who uses the stage name Ian.
Yeah, you heard that right. She is using the dead teacher's name for views.
The students are creeped out, but can't stop watching.
They debate the morality of it, calling her a terrible devil while simultaneously drooling over her dancing. It turns out the streamer is actually Hong Ariam, a student from class 3-2 who sleeps all day because she's busy collecting donations all night.
Ariam is the top-ranked girl in the ranking room, a toxic ecosystem where streamers do whatever the donors want for cash.
She's soaking up the attention, acting all cute for her chairman, while her classmates discuss how icky it is to capitalize on a tragedy.
Later that night, Sang-in is in his office, and his subordinate is shocked to find him watching the broadcast. Sang-in is learning the rules of this vicious game.
In this world, money is power, and these streamers will answer any question if the price is right.
Sang-in stares at the screen where Ariam is dancing, his eyes cold and calculating. He's not there to be a simp, he's there to hunt.
He asks if she'll answer a question for enough money, and the subordinate confirms that for a jackpot, she'll spill everything. The subordinate explains that in these ranking rooms, the lower ranks aren't even treated as human. It is a brutal system, perfect for a demon like Ariam to thrive in.
Sang-in prepares to make his move, and you can tell he's about to drop a nuclear bomb on this chat.
Suddenly, a notification explodes on the screen. 10,000 hearts donated. The chat goes absolutely wild as Sang-in enters the fray with a simple command: answer my question from now on, Ian. The streamer's eyes light up at the sudden jackpot.
Sang-in doesn't stop there. He fires a second shot, another 10,000 hearts.
He types the question that is about to end her whole career. What does the name Ian mean? Ariam giggles, playing coy and greedy, trying to bait even more money before she answers.
With a cruel, mocking smile, she finally reveals the truth. She says Ian was just the name of a doll she used to play with. She had so much fun with it, but unfortunately, the doll got completely broken. She is literally talking about a human being like a piece of plastic. Sang-in's fury is cold and silent as he realizes she viewed his sister as nothing more than a toy.
The chat is celebrating the jackpot, but the mood is about to shift.
He prepares his final message, and it's not another donation, it's a death warrant. Ariam is still dancing, thinking she just scored big, but Sang-in sends one last chilling message that wipes the smile right off her face. He tells her that since she borrowed that name, from now on, she's going to have to pay for it. The chairman is no longer her benefactor, he's her executioner.
Sang-in is coming for every single demon in that class, and the debt they owe is going to be paid in full. The game is over, and the abyss is waiting.
Welcome back to the circus. where our main girl Hui Yun is about to learn that there is no such thing as a free lunch or an easy designer bag. A month ago at Seoulbit High, she was busy flexing a luxury bag she supposedly bought by scrubbing grills at a barbecue joint, but her classmate Ariam smells a lie from a mile away. Ariam is the definition of a red flag with pretty hair, and she immediately starts whispering about a job that pays way better for way less work. Since Hui Yun is clearly down bad for some quick cash, she ignores every internal alarm bell and agrees to let this snake introduce her to the world of easy money. Before she can even say what is the catch, Ariam is treating her like a literal dress-up doll, slapping on heavy makeup and forcing her into a dress that leaves nothing to the imagination. When Hui Yun tries to play the prude card, Ariam just rolls her eyes because in this business, modesty does not pay the bills.
Welcome to the Ranking Broadcast, a digital gladiator pit where streamers trade their dignity for donations while simps watch from the shadows.
The veteran girls are out here doing the most, but our girl Hui Yun is standing there like a deer in headlights, realizing that smiling for the camera is actually a lot harder than it looks.
The leaderboard is the ultimate reality check, ranking these girls like products on a shelf based on how many hearts they can suck out of the viewers.
Hui Yun is rotting at the very bottom of the list, looking like a total amateur while the other girls are basically professional clowns for cash.
After the show, the manager is absolutely livid, calling Hui Yun a dud and roasting Ariam for bringing in someone who is actually costing the studio money.
He is ready to kick her to the curb, but Ariam plays the diplomat, trying to save her little project from getting cancelled before it even starts. Despite being a total failure on screen, Hui Yun gets handed an envelope with 1 million won, which is probably more money than she has ever seen in her life. The bait is officially taken, and she is already dreaming of a life of luxury, not realizing she just signed her soul over to the devil for some paper. Easy money goes fast, and Hui Yun is already back for more, thinking she can just fake it until she makes it. She is out here shopping and living her best life, completely oblivious to the fact that Ariam is watching her like a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The mask finally slips during a live stream when a donor asks about Ariam's nickname, Ayan, and she laughs while calling it the name of a doll she used to play with. The chill that goes down Hui Yun's spine is real because she knows that Ayan was the name of their teacher who mysteriously ended up dead. Hui Yun finally realizes she is trapped in a room with a literal psycho who breaks people for fun and decides it is time to exit stage left. But Ariam is not about to let her golden goose fly away that easily, and the sweet schoolgirl act disappears faster than a donation after a stream ends. The trap is finally revealed as Ariam drops the bomb that Hui Yun is actually buried in a shit ton of debt that she didn't even know she had.
That $1,000,000 payout.
It was not a salary, it was a high-interest investment, and the boss is coming to collect whether she likes it or not. Ariam gets right in her face, reminding her what happened to their teacher when she tried to act up and keep her dignity.
She mocks Hui Yun for being an idiot who thought she could just walk away, leaving our girl shattered on the floor with no way out of this nightmare.
Forced back into the spotlight, Hui Yun is a shell of herself while the manager announces a brand new way to exploit her for the thirsty masses.
Ariam takes the mic and announces a special meal date auction, promising the highest bidder a private one-on-one session with the studio's newest toy.
Hui Yun is totally clueless about what a meal date actually implies in this shady industry, but the simps in the chat are already losing their minds.
They are throwing thousands of hearts at the screen like it is an Olympic sport, all for a chance to get some quality time with the girl at the bottom of the rankings.
Ariam keeps gaslighting her, saying it is just a harmless lunch and a coffee with a fan who really appreciates her work. She tells her to just go out there and have fun, all while wearing that same demonic smile that proves she has already sold Hui Yun out for a profit. Our girl arrives at the meeting spot and immediately realizes she is not at a 5-star restaurant, but in a seedy district filled with motels and bars.
Her survival instincts are finally screaming at her to run, but she is already standing in the middle of a predator's playground with nowhere to hide. The winner of the auction shows up, and he is exactly the kind of sweaty, basement-dwelling creep you would expect to spend his life savings on a live stream.
He is breathing heavy and looking at her like she is a piece of meat, and the bad feeling in Hui Yun's gut is officially turning into pure terror.
The creep reveals he already booked a room, and even raided his mom's wallet to afford this little encounter, showing just how pathetic he really is. When Hui Yun refuses to go inside, he flips the switch and starts screaming about being scammed, proving that these fans are just as dangerous as the managers.
He starts getting violent, threatening to report the whole broadcast if he does not get what he paid for, which is basically her entire existence. Huiyun manages to scramble away from the monster, but the trauma of the encounter is already etched into her face as she flees the scene. She confronts Ariam in the alleyway, accusing her of knowing exactly what kind of filth she was being sent to, but the red-headed devil does not even blink. Ariam just mocks her for overreacting and reminds her that the money is all that matters if she ever wants to pay off that phantom debt. The gaslighting reaches a new level as Ariam asks if she should be thanking her instead for providing a way to earn money so easily.
She tells Huiyun that a girl with no skills has no right to be picky about how she pays her bills, effectively stripping away the last bit of her humanity.
Ariam grabs her by the hair and gets physical, brutally reminding her that she is nothing more than a product owned by the studio. She tells her to go fix her face and get ready for the next broadcast because the show must go on, and our girl is the main attraction whether she wants to be or not. Back in the present, Huiyun is weeping in the dirt, realizing she can never escape the clutches of the devil she once called a friend. Two of the broadcast staff members spot her and immediately move in, looking at her like an escaped animal that needs to be put back in its cage. These thugs corner her in the alley, accusing her of trying to dine and dash after taking the advance payment from the boss. They do not care about her tears or her pleas for mercy, they just see a paycheck that is trying to run away before the cameras start rolling. They grab her roughly, intending to drag her back to the studio by force, and it looks like it is finally game over for our unlucky protagonist. But just as they are about to throw her back into the nightmare, a shadow looms over the alleyway and a voice commands them to let her go.
The thugs tell the stranger to mind his own business, but they have no idea who they are messing with today.
Huiyun looks up and sees Kim Sang-in, her homeroom teacher, standing there looking like he is ready to personally escort these trash bags to the afterlife for touching his student.
Imagine finding out your boring homeroom teacher is actually a high-tier savage who can fold studio thugs like laundry.
Huiyun is currently questioning her entire reality as Sang-in stands over the wreckage of the men who tried to kidnap her, looking completely unfazed.
But don't get it twisted, he isn't playing the hero for fun. Sang-in drags her back to reality with a cold demand, making it clear that he only saved her because he needs the tea on what Hong Ariam did to his sister, Kim Ayan. The mere mention of Ariam's name has Huiyun shaking like a leaf, proving that this girl isn't just a classmate, she is a straight-up nightmare. Sang-in sees the terror in her eyes but doesn't back down, pushing her to spill every single secret.
Huiyun finally breaks, revealing the chilling truth that Ayan wasn't just a stage name for their streaming gig.
It was the name of a doll that Ariam used to play with, and apparently, she didn't stop playing until the doll was completely broken.
We jump back to the beginning of the semester where teacher Kim Ayan was basically the human personification of sunshine.
She was the kind of model educator who actually cared about her students, blissfully unaware that a massive red flag was sitting in her front row. Enter the queen of the classroom, Hong Ariam, a girl who thinks her bank account is a substitute for a personality. She's out here flaunting luxury bags worth millions and basically buying the loyalty of her classmates like they are cheap accessories. Ariam treats school like a suggestion, showing up late whenever she feels like it because she's rich and popular. The real drama kicks off during a routine cleaning session when the rest of the class is actually working while Ariam is busy being a professional simp magnet on her phone. Teacher Ayan finally has enough of the special treatment and calls her out, asking why she thinks she is too good to pick up a broom. Ariam just laughs in her face, revealing that she already paid a classmate named Young-soo 10,000 won to do her dirty work for her. This girl really tries to lecture her teacher on capitalism, bragging that she makes $500,000 won streaming in the time it takes to sweep a floor. She even gets Young-soo to agree that he's happy with the cash, using his desperation to justify her twisted logic. Teacher Ayan isn't having any of this corruption in her classroom and orders Ariam to pick up the broom immediately. She tells her that while money might buy things in society, it can't buy basic human values like responsibility or cooperation. The teacher humiliates the class queen by making her do actual work, and the look Ariam gives her is pure, unadulterated malice. You can practically see the gears turning in her head as she decides that this teacher needs to be erased from the school.
Fast forward a few days, and the trap is set. Ariam starts screaming that her brand new, limited edition 5,000,001 mini bag has vanished.
She makes a massive scene, demanding that every single locker and room in the school be searched immediately.
The school administration is so terrified of a scandal involving a wealthy student that they actually agree to a full-blown investigation.
They start tearing the place apart, and the search eventually leads them straight into the teacher's office. The classroom erupts into chaos when the missing luxury bag is found hidden deep inside teacher Ayan's desk. Suddenly, the model educator is being branded a common thief by the very students she tried to help, with Ariam acting all high and mighty about it. In the office, Ayan is crying and pleading her innocence, but the senior teacher is a cold-blooded snake who only cares about the school's reputation. He tells her that without proof, she's a liability and her permanent contract is basically dead in the water. The administration blackmails her into a corner, forcing her to choose between her pride and her career. They tell her the only way to make this go away without the police getting involved is to give Ariam exactly what she wants, a public apology. It is a soul-crushing scene as teacher Ayan is forced to stand before the entire class and bow her head to a spoiled brat. She apologizes for touching her belongings, essentially admitting to a crime she never committed, while Ariam wears a triumphant, psycho smirk. From that moment on, the teacher's authority is completely dead. Students start mocking her to her face, warning each other to hide their phones and wallets whenever she walks by.
The doll was officially broken, just like Ariam planned.
Back in the present, Hui-yun confesses through tears that she was an eyewitness to the whole frame-up. She saw Ariam handing the bag to Young-soo right before it went missing, but she was too much of a coward to say anything while their teacher's life was being ruined.
Sang-in listens to the story with a look that could kill, remembering how his sister always talked about her dream to live an honorable life.
She didn't care about the money, she just wanted to be a teacher she could be proud of, and Ariam stole that from her. That false accusation didn't just hurt her career, it shattered her soul into a million pieces. Sang-in realizes that his sister's kindness was her downfall in a world filled with monsters like Ariam, and his blood is absolutely boiling.
Meanwhile, over at the broadcast studio, the staff is losing their minds because Hui-yun has been ghosting them for days.
Ariam is already bored and looking for a new victim to break, wondering if her current doll is already too damaged to be fun.
Suddenly, the door swings open and Hui-yun walks in with a look in her eyes that screams she's done playing the victim. She ignores the manager's threats and challenges Ariam directly, declaring that she's going to take that #1 spot and destroy the queen on her own turf.